The Republican arc seems to have traveled from an initial position of repealing and then defunding Obamacare to now perhaps rolling back the most successful fiscal policy since 1980, the sequester. Of course, all due to a splintered Republican Party, the establishment GOP in the Senate versus grassroots conservatives in the House, who have now emerged as leaders, frustrating President Obama, Harry Reid, and the old guard, of course, of the Republican Party. I'm Lou Dobbs. Good evening, everybody. Day 14 of the government shutdown and 3 days away from a make-believe deadline to raise the debt ceiling, and this is where we are tonight. A deal is emerging, it seems, between Senate Majority Leader Reid and Minority Leader Mcconnell. Fox News has confirmed through Senate sources that the deal would fund the government until January, while suspending the debt ceiling until February. Senate Democrats apparently willing to accept current spending levels until only January, an effort to have another battle over a new round of sequester spending cuts that kick in at the beginning of the year. The medical device tax imposed by Obamacare stays at the insistence of the White House and Senator Reid, but a requirement that the government verify income eligibility for Obamacare subsidies is in this new deal. Apparently, Senators Reid and McConnell have all but forgotten about Speaker Boehner and the House conservatives he must persuade in order to push this agreement through the House, unless Speaker Boehner relies on House Democrats to pass the legislation. That would be a violation of the so-called Hastert rule, and it requires a majority of the majority support to bring a bill to the floor. Does the Speaker have that? We'll find out. A violation could cost him his speakership. Fox News Chief Congressional Correspondent Mcconnell on Capitol Hill with the report.
The bipartisan leaders of the Senate said their conversations in recent days were heading for success in the final hours.
I'm very optimistic that we will reach an agreement that's reasonable in nature this week to reopen the government, pay the nation's bills, and begin long-term negotiations to put our country on sound fiscal footing.
Those discussions continue, and I share his optimism that we're going to get a result that will be acceptable to both sides.
Reid's goal was a longer-term debt ceiling agreement with a shorter-term government funding bill so his side could fight the sequester cuts. McConnell's side favored a longer-term government funding package with a shorter borrowing extension so the GOP could argue for doing something about debt.
This would be the sixth time in just 5 years that the president wants a debt ceiling increase, and the amount they want is $1 million a minute for the next year, way beyond the 2014 elections. $1 million a minute unchecked.
While Democrats have criticized Republicans for overreaching and trying to defund or delay Obamacare, Republicans warned Reid was going too far over the weekend in trying to repeal another current law, the Budget Control Act.
Over the last 48 hours, Democrats unbelievably have been wanting to break the budget caps that were put in place in 2011. I think you know, this is the first time since 1955 and 6 that we've had 2 years in a row of reduced spending, and obviously they don't like that.
Increasing spending wouldn't help win Republican support in the Senate and could be a poison pill in the House. But senators who've worked on trying to find a bipartisan deal sound upbeat.
We're going to get this done. I feel very confident that they have an outline of what they want. I think it's just putting the dates and the times and things of that sort, making sure it works for everybody procedurally.
Senate Republicans were due to meet this evening, but I'm told 9 GOP senators were unable to be there, so they will meet late tomorrow morning. As leadership aides have been telling me, for something this big, you want everybody in the room. Lou?
Mike, thank you very much, Mcconnell. On Wall Street today, despite all of the talk emanating primarily from the president and the White House, an apparent effort to talk the market down to provide some support in these negotiations, the markets instead liked what they heard, although there was light trading on this Columbus Day. And, of course, the bond market closed. The Dow Jones Industrials gained 64 points, the S&P up 7, the NASDAQ up 23 points on the day.